Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you again for your time today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Remedyforce, the Winter13 release. And so to just kind of kick things off, this is probably I'm assuming that the majority of the audience are already existing Remedyforce customers, but even if maybe we've got some folks that are maybe prospectively looking at Remedyforce, I think this will give you a great overview in terms of what capabilities are offered with Remedyforce, specifically the Winter13 release. So one of the things that was available in the spring release was the service request capability. So service request, basically giving your customers the ability to go to a self-service portal, request new services, changes to services, all of those types of things. And again, that's obviously done through the self-service portal. In addition to that, we allow customers access to knowledge through that self-service portal, as well as your staff members have access to the knowledge management solution too. Service level management, this is basically a module within Remedyforce so that you can configure your thresholds in terms of what's an acceptable level of service and how well you're performing, and making sure that you do meet those expectations that you've identified with your customer. Mobility, this is a component that allows not only your customers, so customers from a self-service perspective would have access through a mobile device to create incidents, to check the status of incidents, but also staff members have access to a mobile component as well. Chatter, this was something that was greatly enhanced in Winter13 in the sense that now your clients have access to Chatter, so they can establish chat sessions, but in addition to that, they can also use Chatter for approvals, those types of things. And so that's, again, another enhancement in Winter13. Also, with Remedyforce, you have your real-time analytics, which is the reporting engine, and we're leveraging the Force.com reporting engine, which if any of you have ever used that, you know that it's quite easy to manipulate and create your own custom reports, schedule those reports to be sent out in an automated fashion, as well as dashboards. And then as you start looking towards the bottom row of icons here, this really highlights the key and core components of any IT service management solution, or at least what should be any IT service management solution. Obviously, incident management, problem change management, and one of the newest additions to this is release management. So for those of you that are very much ITIL-centric and have been looking for a means in which you can manage releases, this is a nice addition to Remedyforce in the Winter13 release. Also, the configuration management, asset inventory management capabilities, and with all of that, another nice enhancement that BMC made is an update to the canned processes that are included out of the box with Remedyforce. So these have been updated. We've extended these beyond incident, problem, and change. You now have processes for configuration management and release management, and they certainly include processes for service request management as well. So that's another nice enhancement in Winter13. So specifically, what are the things that we're going to highlight today? Well, first and foremost, Chatter for clients. This is one of the big enhancements as it relates to Chatter, and this requires a Salesforce platform license, which is included. So just note that there is a slight license change there that you'll need to apply to your clients. But with that, your clients now would have access to Chatter. Also, there's been a number of enhancements to the self-service module, one of which is you now have the ability to implement multiple themes. If you've got different groups that would like a different theme for the self-service site, that's now possible. Also, browser defaults, so browse as a default setting, meaning that when you log into the self-service page, instead of seeing a list of knowledge articles, you might want to allow customers to search articles, search different request types based upon the category tree. And in addition to that, there's now searching capability for a customer to search their incidents. So instead of having to only filter through different statuses, they now can use keywords and text strings to search their incidents or incidents that they have access to. So that's a nice enhancement. Another nice enhancement is the staff and queue assignment. So in previous versions, it has always been that a record was assigned to a queue, which is equivalent to a group or a team, or it was assigned to a staff member. And so it became really challenging when you wanted to do reporting in terms of what incidents has my team opened or closed, for example, or what records are currently assigned to my team, regardless if they're assigned to a person or not, that type of thing. It became a little bit challenging in that regard, so there's some nice enhanced functionality as it relates to that, so it really alleviates that. As I'd mentioned before, release management, this is an entirely new module that has been added, and in short, what this will give you the capability of doing is as you define changes for major releases, you can link those multiple changes to this one release, be able to view the release manifest, and from that, order the changes in which they should occur, all those types of things. So we'll take a closer look at that in the demonstration today. Another thing that, as most of you might be aware of, is that BMC a few months back acquired Numara Software. And Numara Software had a great IT asset management solution called the Asset Core, Footprints Asset Core. And so, as Dick had mentioned, BMC has a number of products in the family of solutions. And so one of the things that they did for the mid-market customer is they included or provided integration to Asset Core. So if you have a need for inventory management, remote control, software distribution, patch management, we now have a very tight integration with that type of solution, being specifically Footprints Asset Core. And in addition to these key features that I've mentioned here, I think this is quite a testament to BMC's commitment to the mid-market and to its customers. They've included over 30 different requests that customers have made for enhancements in the solution. And so this is all, and those 30 enhancement requests have been implemented relatively in a short period of time, especially when you consider that there are 3 major releases per year. And so I think that's, again, I commend BMC for their commitment to the product and the commitment to their customers in terms of being able to quickly provide these enhancements. And so for a full list of all of these enhancements, you certainly want to reference the release notes, and we can provide you those separately if you wish to do so. So let's talk a little bit more in terms of some of these features and highlight here, again, release management functionality. This is an entirely new module, so you will see new objects in the database for release management. And one of the things that I think is probably most attractive is the fact that just like when you had tasks that might be a link to a change, in this situation you can have multiple changes that are linked to this release and be able to schedule those and order those appropriately, as well as each of these changes can have their own unique statuses. And all of this information is visible in a calendar view, so at any point in time you know and understand what's going on in your environment. And that calendar can certainly be filtered in a number of different ways. But again, we'll take a look at this more closely in the live demonstration. And as I had also mentioned, the integration with the Asset Core, and this is significant in a number of ways. And what I'd like to do is just kind of give you a scenario that this integration would support and help organizations automate and streamline their processes. So if you could imagine that a customer going to a self-service page, which is represented here in this middle diagram, from there going and requesting, for example, a new application. That application then that application request record being created and assigned to the appropriate team in Remedyforce. From there, we have an approval rule, that approval workflow and process that would execute or spawn off the appropriate approvals. And one of the things is, as we had mentioned with the integration with Chatter, customers would have the ability to go through the Salesforce.com Chatter utility and approve requests there, which we'll see some examples of that later on as well. Once those approvals are made, from there we can automatically have the application deployed to the endpoint. And once that application has been deployed, then we can use the reporting and metrics capability within the asset core to determine whether we're in compliance with the software that we've purchased. We can have automated alerting if we become out of compliance, all of those types of things. So again, this goes beyond just simply being able to spawn a remote control session from an incident form. This is true automation that can be initiated from the customer simply going to the self-service page in Remedyforce. So quite a bit of capability and functionality that was introduced in this winter release. I should also point out, and Dick mentioned some of the add-on options that RightStar has developed, one of those being Scanstar. And I named this particular one for two reasons. One, it's so closely tied to the previous conversation of asset management. So the Scanstar solution essentially is a barcoding solution that allows you to scan barcodes and track the movement, track the receipt, and track any updates that you make to your assets, and then synchronize that back to Remedyforce. And in addition to the Winter13 release, we've also released version 2 of Scanstar, and namely the biggest improvement that was made in version 2 is it's much easier for our team to customize and configure the product, which ultimately means to you a more rapid and a more specific implementation to your requirements. So we can very easily add custom fields, all of those types of things to the receiving, the tracking, and verification modules within Scanstar. So if you'd like to learn more about that, just please contact your account manager at RightStar, and we'll gladly set up online demonstrations and so forth. So with that, I'd like to move into a product demonstration, so bear with me while I prepare for that. So what everyone should be seeing at this point is a Remedyforce page, and this is actually the self-service page. So for those of you that are existing customers for Remedyforce, this may look a little bit different. And the primary difference being is that we now allow you to put a tab within your within your Salesforce.com environment. So if you're already an existing Salesforce.com customer, you don't have to go outside of the application in order to register an incident in Remedyforce.